What's up, friends? Welcome to the Garage Gym Lab. My name is Adam, and if you're new to the channel, I make videos right here on YouTube about gym equipment reviews and home gym tips and advice. So if you're into that sort of thing, I definitely encourage you to subscribe below so that you can follow along. Today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at one of my most recent purchases, and that is the Rep Fitness FB5000. Yes, this is their competition bench. In my opinion, it's one of the best flat benches on the market, and priced at only $149, I think it just may be one of the best buys around. So let's check it out. Alright guys, so I've been using the Rogue Fitness Flat Utility Bench for the better part of the past 2 years. That is a relatively affordable bench. It's well built, as is the case with most Rogue Fitness products, and it's treated me pretty well over the past couple years. But when Rep Fitness announced the release of this competition flat bench in late 2017, I knew that I wanted to upgrade to it. But unfortunately, they kept selling out, and they were going through a transition to a more grippy vinyl. Thankfully, it is back in stock. It has a nice grippy vinyl now, and at last I have it in my garage, and I'm absolutely so excited to share it with you. So to kick this off, guys, I'm going to start with the specs of the bench, and then I'll break down exactly why I think this bench not only has tremendous design, but also offers tremendous value. The frame of the bench is built using 3x3 11 gauge steel. It's 48 inches long and it weighs in at 62 pounds. The pad is 12 inches wide and 4 inches thick. And the total height from floor to the top of the pad is 17 inches. And when you add it all up, you get a bench that has been spec'd to meet the requirements, yes, of our IPF overlords. When I think about what makes this bench so awesome, there are 3 primary things that I think about. The first is that the front of this base is really narrow. This is obviously really great because it eliminates the potential of the base getting in the way of your feet. Now, if you're trying to get leg drive, which you absolutely should be, then you know how annoying a wide base can be. Both the Rogue Fitness Flat Utility Bench and the Monster Utility Bench have wide bases. The Flat Utility Bench, which I have owned for the past 2 years, has a 14-inch base. And as you just saw in that clip, it gets in the way of my feet. The Monster Utility Bench is even more egregious. It's 24 inches. It's almost impossible not to hit the base with your feet when you're trying to get leg drive, depending on your height. So in my opinion, this is a clear design advantage for Rep Fitness with a narrow base. The second thing that I love about this bench is the fact the back of the frame actually has wheels. Yes, you can use the front handle on this thing to move it around really easily, which is super handy and great because this bench does come in on the heavier side. Again, it weighs in at 62 pounds. The Rogue benches top out at about 52 pounds, in the case of the Monster Utility Bench, but neither of those benches offer wheels. In fact, this is really uncommon for flat benches in general. So I appreciate the fact that Rep Fitness decided to make my life and yours a little easier to move around by putting these wheels on the bench. The third thing that I love about this bench is the fact that it's 17 inches tall from the floor to the top of the pad. Now, because this pad is around 4 inches thick versus the 2.5 inches or so on the Rogue pads, adding a Thompson fat pad to it really makes a minimal difference. Consider the Monster Utility Bench from Rogue. It comes in at 17.5 inches without a Thompson fat pad, which is great. But if you add a Thompson fat pad, it becomes 19 3/4 inches. This is obviously too tall because the IPF puts an upper limit on the height of a bench at 17.5 inches. Consider the shorty version of the Monster utility bench. With a Thompson fat pad, it is 17.5 inches, which is great. But if you don't have a Thompson fat pad, it actually is 15.25 inch, which is way too short because the IPF requires the bottom limit of a bench to be 16.5 inches. So you can see where Rep has really done a great job at building their frame around a 4-inch thick pad. And for that, again, it's another feather in their cap. It's another distinct design advantage in favor of the Rep bench. One other thing that I want to point out about this bench is that it has 3 braces on the underside for additional stability. Extra stability is extra good when you're adding extra weight, unlike me because I have a poverty bench. The one area that I do think could be improved on this bench is the fact that the pad itself is not as firm as some of the others. I'm not saying it's soft by any means, but I do think that the Rogue benches offer a bit of a firmer feel. Now, this Rep bench, in my opinion, is a little bit grippier than those, so this is really just a question of trade-offs. Do you want a grippier pad that may be a little bit more supple, or do you want a slippier pad that may be a little firmer? Of course, this is all moot if you put a Thompson fat pad on top, which I have done. Now you can go to Rep Fitness and pay $50 extra and get their Thompson fat pad equivalent. It's 14 inches wide, it's still 4 inches thick. It's a really nice option if you're on a budget. But I like the Thompson fat pad a little bit more. It has a firmer feel. And frankly, I like to support Donnie for everything that he's done and continues to do for the strength community. But again, if you're on a budget, $50 is money well spent, in my opinion, to upgrade to that wider pad. In terms of value, guys, I just don't know that this bench can really be beat. I mean, it comes in at $149. Even if you spend the $50 and get the wide pad, you're still spending only $199. Look at the Rogue flat utility bench. It comes in at $179. The Rogue Monster utility bench costs $265. And that doesn't even include adding a Thompson fat pad, which is going to fetch you over $150 additional dollars. And when you consider that, in my opinion, this Rep FB5000 is actually built better than both of those benches. It's really, in my opinion, a no-brainer at this price. Well, that's basically it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you very much. I put links in the description below for the things that we talked about today. And if you haven't already subscribed yet, I definitely encourage you to do so. Until then, guys, I will see you on the next video.